Hello and welcome to The Pursuit of Truth. It's the 8th of May 2018. The subject I'm going to talk about is the one I mentioned previously, and that is death. Cheery subject. Something that I do, it does crop up in my mind. I'm sure it crops up in everyone's mind. It's something that we're all going to have to taste of, as the Quran says. And we're all going to taste of it differently, and we don't know how it's going to be, when it's going to be. I remember there was once I found this thing on the internet where it actually detailed like how many people die every second, and it had this counter. And it just seemed so crazy to think about that, to imagine that, while I'm talking to you now, that people are passing away at this moment. You may even know someone who's passed away while you're listening to this, and also the aspect of that you're listening to me when I'm alive. You may listen to this when I've passed away. Isn't that crazy to think that I'm talking live now while I'm alive, and that you could listen to this while I'm gone, thinking that I'm talking to you, whereas, well, I am in a way because I've just referenced you, isn't it? Which is really, really weird. It's that whole time aspect of things, isn't it? It is weird to think that we are mortal and that we're all going to die. But it does haunt me. If you've ever seen any of my poems, things like the Dead City or the Night Collection or the single poems that I write, there's a lot of that aspect of death that I talk about. The is it not transitory? The fragility of life. How easy it can be taken away. I could suddenly just have a heart attack, a brain hemorrhage, be diagnosed with cancer. Anything could happen at this very second, and there's nothing I could do to stop it. It does scare me to think how that when that moment comes, every one of us is going to have to face it alone. Even though we may have other people next to us, we still have to personally face it alone. Like we do everything really, in all our emotions we have to feel ourselves, and only we can really feel them. We can empathise with other people's, but we have to feel that moment when we are dying and we are seeing those around us that we have to say goodbye to, and that I don't know, it actually, there's, like, I think about the loved ones that I love and how it's like Catch-22. If they were to die, it would kill me. I don't know how I would survive, how I would continue, knowing that the person that I love the most, my wife, would no longer be there with me. Sorry, it does just scare me so much, because there's nothing I can do about it. I have no control, no power over death. I know that one day I will either see her die or she will see me die. And neither of them give me any joy. Not that death should give you joy, but if you know what I mean, that, some people would say, well, if you were to die, then you wouldn't have to feel that. But I know that if I was to die, that I would leave my wife without me, that she would see me and not be able to do anything. I don't know what is the worst part of it, is death or is the powerlessness of it. But then I think, obviously we can't live forever. That's, if you believe in God, if you believe in religion, and the whole part of, tasting of death is so that you can get to the next life. This life is not meant to be something that you live forever. It's meant to be a test or a trial. It depends how you see it. My understanding through Ahmadiyya Islamic teaching that I have is that it is, it's akin to when you're in the womb of a mother, that you are, if you think about the mother, the womb is being affected by everything that she's doing, by outside sounds, by everything she's eating, but everything she's doing is affecting that creation inside. And that is exactly what this life is now for us. We are that baby. Life is the womb. And everything that we do is affecting our next birth, our birth into the afterlife, when the birth that we are forever. this is why some people, it's not like we're actually dying, we're actually just moving, the same as when we move from being inside the womb to being in the earth, and then our soul being into another place. Our soul is that babe in the womb, and we are our bodies are the womb, and everything we speak, everything we say, everything we do is affecting that creation. And that's how I believe that we're being judged, because the Quran mentions something about in the when we are up in afterlife, that there'd be like I can't remember the exact wording, is about having like a and it's obviously metaphorical, but like I think it mentions like the colour of your soul being the definition of good and bad, and something like that. So that everything we're doing is affecting our soul, our afterlife, in the same way that we will be judged by the good that we've done, and not in an earthly way, because men don't make good judges. We can see that because people get carted away for crimes that they didn't commit, and people abuse their power and stuff like that. And we don't know in our eyes what is good and what is bad truly, because some things that we do may not be bad or may not be good. It depends how you see these things, and they're always changing because we change. But God sees further than that, and He sees our intention, which is the most important thing, and how we think when we do things. He sees our intention, which no man can see. There's a very famous hadith where Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when I can't remember, I've forgotten his name now, one of the who became one of his caliphs, he killed a man, and because he it was when they were fighting, and he said, "No, I'm Ashhadu la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah," that I believe in God and Muhammad is the messenger, and he just killed him. And Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, that could you see inside his heart? Which you can't, no man can. You can't see the intention of that person. So you should be very careful when you're exercising judgment. It is not really for you to exercise judgment. Only God can really exercise that judgment, because He can see, if you believe in God, if you believe in religion, He can see your soul, He can see your intention, and that's how you truly can only be judged. Because a man who's convicted of a crime will lie to you, and you won't know. You may let him off, or you may execute him. But none of you can see his intention. That's why criminals can lie and get away with it. But God can, and that's the difference, if you believe in that aspect of it, which I do. So maybe I shouldn't be so hung up on the fact. And it's difficult because, that's how we are as human beings. We do feel, we are emotional, and we cling on to those things that we love, especially if you haven't had too much of these things, and it's something that is really treacherous, is that such a word? That you want to hold on to it as much as you possibly can and experience that love. That is one of the most important things that we live for. It's one of the most ultimate truths, is love. But yeah, it does, and I'm sure there's people listening to me. Maybe you've already gone through this experience. It'd be interesting to hear it. What it's like to see the person you love the most in front of you pass away, and then not being there anymore. Exactly the same. The body is in front of you, but the soul is gone. That feeling of, when someone could be animated and alive in front of you, and then the next second that is gone. Whatever that special thing is gone, and it's just a body now. And it won't speak, it won't breathe, it won't be able to tell you that it loves you, it won't be able to tell you how it's feeling or hold you or any of those things. I dread that time, which there's nothing I can do about it. That time will come when one day I will see people that I love die, and I also will die knowing that people I love are still around. I wish there was a way to feel better about that. I don't think there really is. I mean, even the sense that, you'll be going to the afterlife if it is there, and you'll have a better life, and you won't have all the stuff that I hate about life down here, all this injustice, all this untruth, all this stupid way of living where we live for just money, for greed, for all the things that have set us back as a civilization that we think are the greatest things possible. All those things won't exist. So maybe I should be happy that that time will come one day. That utopia, as it were. And if I really do want to feel that kind of place where everyone loves each other, where everything is truthful, where everything is love, where the people that I love are still there, I mean, that's the thing that I need to think about, isn't it? That we all die, and if we do believe in God, and if God does exist, and heaven and hell exist, and everyone ends up in heaven in the end, they may have to go to hell for a little bit to correct their soul of the darkness that they've caused upon it by their bad deeds, but everyone will eventually get to heaven, and there will be no hell. So I will see everyone again, and they will see me. But it's difficult to think about that because it's something that I can't possibly fathom, in the sense that it's something I haven't experienced, and you can only really feel something or feel comfort in something when you've actually experienced something. Yeah, anyway. I hope I haven't got too deep on this one, or I'm sorry if I'm not going to apologise for my emotions, because that's me, that's who I am, and you've heard a bit of my soul and how I feel. And like I say, every one of us will go through this. No matter what we think, we will all die. And the people before us, they've died, and people before that. Imagine how many billions of people have already died and lay on this earth, who have thought these thoughts that I'm thinking now. And this will continue on, even past me. That's quite, unless the whole planet gets destroyed and we all die in one big wipeout. Maybe that would be a better way to go, actually. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure maybe in years to come I'll listen to this and think about this, and it will make me sad, in the sense that at this very moment the people that I love the most are all here and all alive. Yeah, sometimes it is like a horrible thing. Anyway, I'm sort of rambling a little bit. I'm sure I'm repeating myself. I'm sure I've made the point that I wanted to make. Anyway, take care, take it easy. God bless and peace.